Hello, and welcome to the Soulful Self-Development Podcast. I'm so glad you're here. My name is Hannah Sutherland. I'm a lover of all things self-care, personal development, and spirituality. I have created this podcast to help you grow into the most soulful version of yourself while creating more joy, magic, and purpose in your everyday life. If you're ready to live a life so full, then you, my friend, have come to the right place. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and now let's dive deep. Hello, you beautiful souls, and welcome back to another episode of the Soulful Self-Development Podcast. Today's episode, I'm going to be sharing with you 11 spiritual grow habits for spring. I just want to say that there are so many different tools and habits that you can use to help you along your spiritual journey. There are literally infinite, and there are more than the ones that I am going to talk about in this episode that I use myself, but I just picked 11 different habits that I like to use and that help me to feel more spiritual and connected in my everyday life. And if you guys like this episode, I can do more episodes like this as well. And just know that you don't have to take every single one of these habits, and you can also adapt other habits that I did not talk about, because again, there are so many different tools, and the best part about spirituality is finding tools that work for you. So just take what resonates and leave what doesn't, and I hope that you enjoy this episode. So to start off, number 1 is to connect with the earth, connect with nature every single day. Make sure that you get fresh air, touch the ground, hug the trees, because it is spring. It has been winter for long enough, and I know personally that I never spend enough time outside in the winter. So now that it's spring, now that it's nice out, take advantage of that and make sure that you make a habit of going outside, because connecting with nature is such a very powerful tool, and we don't want to let this time of year pass us by, and it is very beneficial to be grounded, to spend time in nature and remind ourselves that we are part of nature, we are part of this beauty that is all around us. And just, I don't know about you guys, but I love being outside. I love spending time in nature, and it always makes me feel better. If I spend too much time in the house, I go stir crazy, and I will start feeling like I'm a crazy person. And as soon as I step outside and spend some time outside in nature, I just feel like a totally different version of myself. So make sure that you prioritize that and go for a walk, go lay outside in the grass, go, have a picnic or a campfire or anything that's going to get you outdoors, because that is going to just be so good for your energy. Number 2 is meditation. And meditation is so important. There are so many benefits to meditation, but the most important part of meditation, I think, is that it's because you get to connect to yourself. It's a time where you tune in to your body, to your soul, and listen to what it is that you need. It is a really good practice to help quiet your mind chatter. And we are in a place in a world that is very overstimulated. We are constantly getting information from all kinds of things, right? We spend a lot of time on our phones. It's constantly giving us information. We interact with all kinds of people throughout the day that give us all kinds of information, and it can be really easy to get lost in that information. So just by taking time to connect with yourself and meditate and actually listening to what it is that you need, what's right for you, what your body needs, what your mind needs, what your soul needs. And this just gives us more opportunities to heal, love, and grow. And it helps us to follow our path that we are meant to walk, because we are listening to our intuition, we are listening to ourselves, and it is a really, really, really powerful tool. So if you do not meditate already, please look into it, because I promise it is going to change your life, and you are going to have some crazy results from starting a meditation practice. Number 3 is movement. Move your body, because when we don't move our body, energy gets stagnant in our energetical field and it stays there, and we cannot process emotions as well, and we just end up holding on to all this stuff, and we end up becoming irritable and angry and grumpy and miserable. So movement is so important because not only is it good for our physical health, it's good for our bodies, it's also good for our mental and emotional health as well. And it gives us that connection to our body. It helps us to listen to our body and what our body needs. And there are endless ways to move your body and exercise. And that is also part of this habit, is not to force your body to do a type of movement that is not what it needs. I just recently stopped going to the gym and started to do more yoga, dance, stretching training, because I was lifting a lot of weights and my body was always sore and tired, and I just had this intuitive feeling that I needed to slow down and actually just do more yoga type workouts. And I have been feeling so much better in my body, and I'm also feeling called to run. It's finally nice outside, so I am going to start running again. I actually do like running a lot, and I never do it in the winter, and I feel like it always takes me so long to get back into it because I don't do it in the winter. But listening to your body and the type of movement that it needs and honoring that, because it is so powerful. Number 4 is less screen time. The less, the better. Screens take away from all of the beauty that is right in front of us. It is so distracting. It not only distracts us from our truths, but it's also distracting us from like issues and emotions and things that we're holding on to that we need to deal with. When we spend a lot of time on screens, it is so easy to ignore those things instead of dealing with a bad day you had and processing those emotions and those feelings and letting them go. We shove them to the side and watch Netflix or scroll on TikTok, and it's actually really bad for us. And it also messes with our entire brain chemistry and our dopamine, and it's not good. So the less screen time that you can have, the better, especially before bed and right in the morning as well. So try to limit your screen time. I know that most of us for work have to use screens, and it's not like you can never look at a screen again, but just be mindful of how much time you're spending on screens. Are you watching a lot of TV? Are you watching a lot of movies? Are you always scrolling on your phone? If you become aware, like, oh, I've been scrolling for a while, put your phone down and do something without your phone. Play a board game, or go for a walk, or have a conversation with somebody face to face versus on the phone. And I promise you, it'll start to make you feel better, because honestly, I find also if I spend too much time on my phone, I just feel so disconnected from myself and from this world and from my reality. And it can be very, very easy to get distracted by our phones and our screens. So this one might not be easy to do, but I promise you it is very worth it, and it will help you in the long run. Remember, the less screen time, the better. You can also set notifications on your phone to remind you. So set yourself a limit of I won't only want to be on my phone for so long in a day, and your phone will remind you like, oh, you're at your limit of screen time. So you can be like, maybe at first it might not be easy to stick to it, but at least you can be aware, because sometimes we're on our phone for like 8 hours a day and we have no clue. And I mean, it's not the same if you're like watching something on the TV and your phone, it won't add those up for you. But even just your phone alone, I try to be like under 2 hours a day on my phone, and I'm usually pretty good at that. But there's sometimes people are on their phones for 8 hours a day that they're thinking about all the things you could be getting done, all things you could be getting accomplished, or all the like peace of mind you would have not being on your phone for that long. Number 5 is eliminate as much alcohol as you can. I am not a fan of alcohol, and trust me, I used to drink a lot. I worked in a bar for 3 years. I spent a lot of time around alcohol, and I am now fully against alcohol. I do not support what it does to our bodies, and it essentially kills your soul. And it is just very, very, very toxic, and it's literally putting poison in our bodies, and it makes me really sad because it is so normal to drink alcohol in our society. It's like almost frowned upon to not drink when you want to have fun with your friends. And I got to a point where I had a group of friends that was like, we couldn't do anything without drinking. And I was just so annoyed. I'm like, can't we like have a paint night and not have to drink wine? Or can't we watch a movie and not have to drink? Can't we go out to the restaurant and just have a nice lunch and we don't have to get drunk? And you know what? It's terrible for your body. It is terrible for your body. And like you feel so gross after. And even just having a couple drinks, I still don't feel good the next day. And I don't want to do that to my body. And you know what? You don't have to cut it out 100% completely. That's fine. If you like alcohol, just be aware of how much alcohol you're consuming because it is literally poison. And maybe try to save it only for special occasions or do a trial run, Try to go a month without alcohol and see how you feel. Try to go a longer period of time without alcohol and just judge how you feel. And then after having a break, drink and see how disgusting you feel. And it might be easier for you to step away from it, but it is so bad for you. And coming up to be summer, it is just so push. Like drinks at the lake, drinks outside, drinks at a fire, drinks over here, drinks over there, beer darts and beer pong and beersby and all these games. But, just try to have fun without it and see how you feel and just know that it's okay to have fun without getting drunk. And I hate that it is so instilled in our minds that in order to have fun, in order for it to be socially acceptable, for us to be goofy and let loose, we have to drink. Because that's not the truth. That's not true. And you know what? It's just your life will become a lot better if you can eliminate as much alcohol that you intake as possible. Number 6 is to scrape your tongue. If you do not scrape your tongue, I highly suggest starting. You can order tongue scrapers on Amazon. You could probably find them in the grocery store. I usually just order mine online. Copper ones are the best because they are naturally antibacterial. But when you sleep at night and throughout the day, like you have bacteria in your gut and it like comes up and it will be on your tongue. That's like white stuff that's on your tongue. So when you wake up in the morning, scrape your tongue. Before you go to bed, scrape your tongue. I just do it whenever I brush my teeth. And I can't not do it now. My mouth never feels clean unless I scrape my tongue, and you just get so much gunk off there. And it's actually such an old practice. It is part of practices from Ayurveda. If you don't know what Ayurveda is, it is the sister science to yoga. So it has been around for so many years, and tongue scraping is one of the practices that is in that science, and I can't go without it now. I feel disgusting if I don't scrape my tongue. So if you don't do that, look into it. It's super easy. It takes literally 5 seconds, but your mouth will just feel so much cleaner and better and healthier when you scrape your tongue. Number 7 is to read more, and especially before you go to bed. This can help you eliminate your screen time, which we talked about previously. Instead of going on your phone before bed, put your phone away and spend some time reading. It is so good for your imagination, and there is so much wisdom and knowledge in books out there, and there are literally so many books out there. And you don't have to read spiritual books, self-help books, whatever. You can read any kind of books. Read Harry Potter, read whatever it is that makes you happy. There are literally so many stories out there, and I just think it's so good for you. It's so good for your imagination. It's so good for your mind. It's way better for your eyes to do before you go to bed than being on a screen. And I just find it so relaxing. I will try to read a few pages of my book. Sometimes I end up reading a lot. Sometimes I end up only reading a couple pages before I go to bed. But I have really been trying to get into reading more. And I think it's a really positive habit. And, you can habit stack this with the being outside as well. Take some time every day and go read your book outside on the deck or outside in the grass or at the park or at the beach or whatever. And there's just so many people write books and want to share their stories. And I know that I want to write a book one day, and I hope that people will want to read what I have to share. So I also like to read what other people like to share, because I have read some absolutely amazing books, and every time I read a good book, I'm like, wow, I'm so glad I did that. That had so much information, and I feel like I'm a better person for learning all this. So read more. It's good for you. Number 8 is to find an artistic outlet and use that to help you relax and unwind. Actually, it is very meditative to have to do any kind of art because you end up becoming essentially one with the art, and you're not thinking about all the things in your life. You're not worrying, your mind's not wandering. You're just focused on whatever art you are creating. And it is a way to meditate as well, but it's very good for your creativity. It's very good for your imagination, and it can be very soothing and relaxing. Recently, I have been really into dot art and making mandalas and such. And oh my goodness, I can literally do it for hours, and it's so soothing, and it is time consuming. I'm making a big mandala right now on a circle canvas, and I have put quite a few hours into it, and I'm not even halfway done. But it's so satisfying, and then you make something beautiful, and even if it doesn't turn out so good, trust me, I have painted many canvases that turned out very ugly, but it was fun, and it's good for you, and it's fun to play with colors and your imagination and get creative and go on Pinterest and take some inspo, and it's good. And your outlet can be literally anything from coloring, painting, writing, drawing, beading, anything that's going to help create more beauty in this world and help you tap into that imagination and creative side, because I just feel like there is a lot in this world that tries to distract us from using our own imagination, and it is so powerful to use that imagination muscle because it is our third eye, and it is a muscle that gets forgotten about, and it is really helpful because it helps you be more powerful in so many ways than just art. But art is something that exercises that muscle. So find something that you like to do as an artistic outlet and practice that, because it really does help you relax and unwind, and it's probably a lot better for you than watching Netflix or doing something of that such to unwind instead. Number 9 is to get yourself some houseplants to take care of. I absolutely love my houseplants, and I find it so fascinating to watch them grow because they start from so little and you watch them grow their new leaves, and you have to take care of them. Each one is different. Each one needs a different amount of water. Each one likes different light, and it's kind of cool. I like to name my plants, and I like to kind of talk to them and be like, hey buddy, how's it going, when I give them water and give them little pets, and just like, they are alive, they are beings. And so I don't know, I just love my house plants, and I love having plants because they actually give off such good energy, such positive vibes. To keep a bunch of plants in your house, it just really helps with the energy of your house and the vibes. So keep that in mind and get yourself some houseplants if you don't already. I'm going to end up being a crazy plant lady. I'm lucky that my mom's boyfriend owns a greenhouse, so I get access to a lot of plants, and I feel very, very, very grateful for that, because I can also I've worked at the greenhouse for a few seasons. Getting to plant them from seeds and watch them grow all the way to mature plants is actually so cool. And yeah, so look into some plants. There are kinds of plants that are very, very, very low maintenance, like succulents, that you barely ever have to water them, and yet they still do the same thing. And then there's other kinds of plants that like to be watered every single day. So there's an array of different kinds that you can find based on how much energy you want to put into taking care of your houseplants. But I promise you, once you start, you'll probably never want to stop. Number 10 is to connect with yourself in the mirror every day. So make sure that you look at yourself in the mirror and practice self-love. Say affirmations to yourself, compliment yourself, dance in the mirror, admire your beauty, and just look at yourself, because mirrors are portals. And when we take the time to look at ourselves in the mirror, it really does help us, because if there's something that you're not facing, if there's something that's bothering you and you're not looking at yourself in the mirror, you're avoiding that. But when you look at yourself in the mirror, you really have to look at yourself for who you are. And if you're somebody that struggles with a negative self-image and you don't feel like you're beautiful enough or whatever, trust me, I've been there. And by admiring myself in the mirror and saying those affirmations to myself in the mirror and, moving my body in the mirror and just appreciating all that I am and all that I have, has really helped me to change my mindset into something better, for a better positive self-image. And I just want you to know that it is actually very helpful. So I like to do it right when I wake up in the morning. Also, when I go to bed at night, I have a big long mirror in my room. And I'll just be like, oh, you're so cute. Or, if I'm feeling really down on myself, I will say a lot of affirmations to myself in the mirror and just reflect on who I am. Number 11 is to listen to high vibrational frequencies or hypnosis while you're sleeping. I find this has given me way better sleeps at night. I just fall into such a deep state of sleeping when I listen to this. So you can listen to like a playlist on Spotify or Apple Music for meditation or high frequencies. Also, YouTube is really good for this. They'll have like 8-hour long videos that are a certain frequency, and there are different frequencies for different purposes, and a lot of them will tell you what it's for. And also recently I've been listening to hypnosis tapes while I sleep. So it'll be like affirmations about money or self-love, or there's pretty much ones for anything, and it will just be somebody repeating these nice affirmations to you over top of relaxing music. And the reason that this is so powerful is because your brain waves are in that state where it's reprogramming your subconscious mind. So when you're listening to those kinds of affirmations, it makes it easy for you to do reprogramming in your subconscious mind. And also just listening to even just the vibrational frequencies. The frequencies are so powerful, and there are so many different kinds of frequencies. Like even if I am hurt or injured and I want to heal, I will listen to healing frequencies, and it actually helps so much. There was a time when I hurt my finger and it got like slammed in a pinch point, and my fingernail like fell out, and I had to get my fingernails sewn back in. And the doctor told me that my fingernail would turn black and fall out, and my finger wouldn't look normal for 6 to 9 months. And I would listen to healing frequencies when I slept, and my fingernail never fell out. It never turned black. It stayed, and it took less than 3 months for it to look fully normal. So that stuff works. It's kind of crazy how powerful and magical that stuff is. So if you don't listen to anything when you're sleeping, I highly, highly recommend trying out different things and seeing what works best for you. But it's just nice to have something helping you while you're sleeping and to use that. And it's nice to use that time that we spend sleeping to do extra work for us and to help us in more ways as well. And I just find it super relaxing. I honestly fall asleep so fast, and now I find it harder to sleep without having that. And I also feel like I used to be a person that would like to fall asleep to a show or something because the background noise would be relaxing for me, or just liked having some kind of noise. So now instead of doing that, I do listen to frequencies or hypnosis or guided meditations, and it's just honestly been such a game changer. So if you are trying to eliminate screen time, especially before bed, and you like the noise to fall asleep to, try a hypnosis tape, try frequencies, try listening to meditative music. Any one of those things can be super, super beneficial. So we are going to wrap it up for today. Thank you everybody for listening, and I hope you guys all have an amazing rest of your day and get outside and enjoy some fresh air and some sunshine. I love you guys so much, and I will see you next time. Bye! Thank you so much for tuning in today and making Soulful Self-Development possible. I am grateful for each and every one of you. If you enjoyed the show today, make sure you rate, review, and subscribe. Stay tuned for new episodes coming out every Wednesday. You can connect with me on social media at soulful.self.development. I would absolutely love to hear from you. You guys make my heart so full. See you next time.